Okay. First off, I would like to talk about the projects a little bit. And I just released the project website, and you can refer to that for your projects. You can go to the course website and check the announcement. And there's a link there for you to register for your group. Okay. All right, so now, in addition to find your group members, you need to look for the topic. And the topic would be anything related to data science, including the data processing, data management, or data visualization. Okay. And I think last week we talked about the number of members in one group, because some of the students asked me to release the number of members in a group. So now I think in one group there will be 2 to 4 members. Okay, 4 will be at most. Okay, 2 to 4. Okay, instead of 2 to 3. All right, so now you need to look for your teammates. All right, so the March 23rd would be the last day for you to register for the group, and you can use the link here to fill in the information. Okay. And each team will need to fill in that form once. Okay, you just fill the form by teams. Let me see from the form. Okay, I think we need more information on this, so I will ask the TS change it on something insights, because I need to know the team members. So I think there should be a place for you to put the teammates. Okay, but anyway, for one group, you need to register for your project once. Okay. All right. Again, if you need any assistance for the teammates, you can ask us to help. Okay. So far, I got one message about looking for the teammates. Okay. All right. So March 23rd will be the last day to register for the group. Okay. Any question? Okay. All right, so we got two milestones for the projects. One will be the midterm proposal presentations. So roughly around the April 20th, each group will have 5 minutes presentations for the projects. That's only for the proposal. Okay. So in addition to the presentation, you need to prepare a short report for the proposal. Okay, that's just a proposal. Okay, just talk about what you're going to do for that. Okay, we provide the template for you to write your proposal, and just give us your motivation and your objectives. Okay, and how you're going to do the projects. Okay, so what kind of tool you're going to use, and some methodology you might refer to. And it would be good that if you can provide some expected results. I mean, before your projects, you have your objectives, so you might have an idea about what the result looks like. Okay, and you also need to fill in your plans, okay, your timelines for finishing the projects. Okay, there's maybe 2 or 3 pages. You just fill in that and submit. And I will tell you where to submit the proposal. Okay, and of course, there's a 5 minutes presentation for each group about the proposals. We also have the templates for the slides. And you can use that, or you can prepare your own slides. Okay. So that's roughly in the midterm week, April 20th. All right, and another milestones for the projects will be the final demo. Final demos. So far, we arranged 2 weeks for the project demos. Each team will have 10 minutes. With 10 minutes, it depends. We will see how many groups we will have after the registrations. According to the number of groups, we might have different schedules. But basically, we propose to have the final demos on the last 2 weeks. June 15th and June 22nd. Okay, the last final week, I think, and the week before finals. Yeah. Okay, we also provide the templates for the projects demo. You need presentations. You also need a project report. Okay, this will be a more formal than proposal. Okay, it should be looks like a report. Okay, so it has the contents and the abstract and some sessions. Okay, I'll leave this template for you to write your report. But that will be the end of the projects. Okay. But anyway, if you have something to write in your report, I encourage you to write something during your when you prepare your projects or when you do the projects. Of course, you can have the some contents from the proposal in your report. Okay, you might start after you know what you're going to work for your projects. You might prepare the documents, right? So I think when you do the projects, you also write the report, okay, simultaneously. Okay. Put the material inside, and in the end, you just reorganize them. Again, put some findings and results in the end. Okay, that'll be easier for you to write the report. Okay. Do not wait until the last minute to write the report. you can write a report during or when you prepare your projects. Okay. So this would be the schedule for the projects. Okay. Now here are some topic you might refer to if you want. Okay. Some previous projects, just the title of the project, no report insights. Just for your reference. Okay, so pay attention to the schedule, pay attention to the time for the proposal presentations and the final demos, the dates for the final demos. Okay, any questions? No? Okay. All right, go to the course website to check the link and mark your calendar for the important dates. All right, so today I think we're going to introduce what the data science is a little bit, okay? Okay, we're going to introduce what the data science is, and we have a quick overview on it. Okay, so I think data becomes more and more important, I think, nowadays. Okay, roughly 20 years ago, I think, roughly 20 years ago, we have this kind of network, wireless sensor network, okay? And at that time, people use networking technology to connect the sensors, homogeneous sensors together to do the sensing job, okay? So we will have the wireless sensor network roughly. And after that, most of the case, the sensor we use are homogeneous. And after that, as the technology changes, the sensor we have in the network could be different type or different purpose of different objectives. So we might have heterogeneous sensors. Okay, we can call them together. So furthermore, we might consider to connect different type of things together into a huge or bigger networks. So it now comes to the Internet of Things. That means we connect everything together. So the people start to look at things about IoTs. Okay, so why I mentioned the changes about the networks, because you might imagine that from previous wireless sensor network to the current IoTs, you might think that we'll have more and more data, right? We can have a homogeneous data to a heterogeneous data. So we might have more and more data, and we have different type of data simultaneously. Okay. So that's why we'll see we have a lot of data. We will see why the data becomes important. Okay. So nowadays, I think we generate lots of data. We might see a picture later. that predicts the amount of data, I think. All right, so because we're talking about the data science, and my personal preference on the research is about data management. So I would like to see different terms, hard terms, using the data flow, okay? Okay, so I think the three hard terms, okay? The IoTs we just seen in the previous slides, okay? And we have heard about the cloud computing. And because the amount of data gets larger and larger, so we might face some problem about the big data, okay? So what's the relations between these hard terms? If we use the data flows to check, we might use Internet of Things to collect the data, right? And after we collect data, we need to store it, we need to manipulate it, we need to process the data in order to get some information from the data. So we might put the data to somewhere to do the calculation, or to do the computing, in order to derive the information inside the data. Okay, so we now can use what we call the cloud computing that can help us to do this. We can store the data on the clouds. Okay, we can do the computation on the clouds. Okay. All right, so we might have the cloud computing, use that kind of services to do these things about managing data. Okay, so in order to derive or to get the information inside the data, and because the data becomes, the amount of data becomes larger and larger, so we need the techniques from big data. So we might refer to the techniques from big data to help us to find out the information. So the data may, here we might use the big data technology, okay, that can help us to have the information from the data easily, okay? So after that, after we process the data, after we know what the information we can get, or we can have some feedbacks from the data set, so we might give the feedback to the end of devices. So we might put our observations or our conclusions to the end devices, okay? So we might put it back to the end devices, to the end things, okay? So I will use the data flows, use the data management, the data flow to look at these three hard terms. Okay, they are all related. Okay, and I think this picture just explained what I mentioned about these three hard terms. Okay. So this just also illustrates why we need data science, or why we have the data science now. The data science actually is a new term, or a new direction to do some work. Okay. All right, so yeah, as I mentioned, that's because we have the IoTs that can help us to have the data, So we might have a different kind of data. And here just show the predictions on the number of connected IoT devices, okay, worldwide. And I think we are here, right? 2022. Okay, so you can see the number of connected devices get larger and larger. And it will result that the amount of data also get larger and larger. Okay, we got a huge amount of data, so we see the curve. Okay, it grows very faster on the amount of data we get. Okay. All right, now we are here. Okay, we are here. So we might face maybe in a few years later. The size of the data we get will double to the size we have so far. Okay, so we need more techniques that can help us to process or to manipulate the data, okay, to derive the information from the data we get. Okay, so one thing is we get more and more data, and the data we get will be heterogeneous. Okay, we can have different type of data. The other important thing is we must make the data to be useful and to be valuable. Okay, so that will be another issues we need to look at. Anyway, so far we just can think about that. The data will be more and more important, So we need some techniques that can help us to do this. That's why we have the what we call the data science. Okay, so in order to face this kind of situations about the data, here are some preliminaries and related fields. Okay, that's what I can think of. Okay, but it depends on which direction you are going to focus. Okay, so these two I think is very fundamental for the computer science. Okay, data structures and algorithms, and I think algorithms plays a very, very important roles, no matter which kind of job or problem. Okay, so it would be better that if you would like to work on the data science, you might have some background on this kind of things, so that would be better. Okay, you might have some architectures, the background on the architecture, computer architecture. Okay, that can help us to process the data more efficient, okay, in time or in space. Okay, or you might have the database background about database. That means how we can store, how we can put the data into different storage. Okay, and the other thing is it'll be better that if you have some idea about what the big data is. Okay, what kind of what's the technology about the big data? How to manipulate the huge amount of data, or type variance, or the spatial time data. Okay. All right. So this will be three directions. Okay. And before we have the data science, we might. Most of the computer scientists working on, I think, there'll be the data engineering. Okay, that focuses on how to store the data. Okay, effectively storing the data. Okay, in terms of time or space. Okay, that will be the data engineering. And for the data analysis, I think most of the people from management or the statistics, okay, they will do the data analysis. But for the computer scientists, we usually don't care about the data analysis. We focus on the data engineering. Okay. For these two, I think data engineering, the courses, I suggest that if you have chance, you can look at these courses. For data engineering, you might take the data mining courses or some course about the architectures. Okay. And for the data analysis, that's belong to the analysis job. So I think that's part of like the statistics or the probability. Okay. In some sense, we might have, for the data analysis, we need the some ideas from the linear algebra. Okay. And nowadays, for the data science, you will see it'll be better that you can have these courses before. That'll be better. Okay. But anyway, you can focus on part of it. But some basic idea about this course will help. Okay. Okay. So this is what I can collect and just give you the idea about what the background for the different job. Okay, so anyway, so what's the data science? What's data science? Okay, and it's just emerging fields and not well defined yet. Okay, you can say if you're working on the data, anything related to data would be the data science. Okay, any province about the data, that will be data science. So probably that will be an area that manages, manipulates, extract, interpret knowledge from big amount of data. Well, that will be the data science. Okay. So this would be the data management, data processing, extract. In some sense, means the data analysis. Okay, and interpret. That means you might use different tool to visualize the data, visualize the information you get from the data set. Okay, so it would be an emerging field, and not well defined yet. But we can say that the data science could be an area, okay, that will manages, manipulate, extract, and interpret the knowledge from the data you get. Okay, so it will be a multidisciplined study. Okay. Okay, so it will bring a new directions or new issues or ideas about the data management. And what insight in the data science will be applied to, in addition to the big data, it also applied to the small data set. Okay. I think for the big data, if the amount of data is big, I think you are lucky. If the amount of data is small, sometimes we'll get trouble. Okay. Small size data is not easy to manipulate or to extract, in particular for extracting the information from the small data sets. Okay. All right, so far for the data science, the elements in the data science, we have these three parts. Okay, it's just because it's a science. I'm not feel comfortable about the term the science. It says the data science. The science looks like the mathematics, like the physics, like the chemistry. So I'm not so sure why we call it like science. Anyway, maybe it uses a lot of statistics. All right, so the elements in data science have these three major elements. Okay, the first one is exploratory data analysis and visualization. Okay, That means how you can play around with the data set you get, how do you visualize them, okay, to the public. And the other thing would be some techniques to extract the information or explore the information inside the data set. That relates to machine learning techniques or some statistical rules, okay, that can help us to find out the patterns or find out the informations in the data set. Okay, and the other things that relates to the architectures, that means we might need high performance computing technologies. Okay, we need that can help us to process the data set easily and quickly. Okay, so this would be three major elements in data science. Okay, this would be, I just copied this picture from the website, okay. In order to do the data science, here are some skill sets. Okay. Of course, according to the previous explanation or previous introductions, it would be better that you might have some basic math and statistics knowledge that can help. And the other skill would be the hacking skill. Okay, that doesn't mean you need to do the to hack. Okay, that means you have the energy to do things. Okay, like the hack song, we do the contest for the hack songs. You need some energy, or you are very interested in something. You will put all of your effort on that. Okay, that would be the hacking skill. The hacking skill. Okay. Of course, including you will like programming. Okay, you can program whole day. Okay, all right. So it includes the programming skill. So the intersection would be machine learning. Okay, and this part would be the danger zone. That means you just put your much effort, but you don't know what you are doing. Okay, so this would be danger. Okay, so if you do not use the programming skill or programming abilities, that belongs to the traditional research for maybe statistics. Okay, and here just for the tool, the way we do things, but how to apply the result. That means you need a substantive expertise. Okay, that's the real application. Okay, you have applications. You find the data, and you can get the results from the data set you get in the applications. And the intersection for these three would be the data science. Okay, that means in addition to the fundamental theory background, the programming skill, something like that, you also need some knowledge about the applications. Okay, that will help. Because when you do the analysis, you get the results. You must know how to explain the results. In order to explain the results, you need some expertise from the application domain. Okay. All right. So this would be the skill set for the data science. Okay. And why we have the data science? Okay. And the reason for this is technology changes quickly, okay, advances quickly. So the new technology help us to do the things that we cannot do previously, okay. So this will result in the data science, okay. So the technology will change. The technology changes quickly, including the way we do the computation. Okay. So if you have taken the machine learning courses before, I think you will have learned many methods or many models that already exist for a long time, right? Why we nowadays people talk about the machine learning models because the hardware advances, okay, that can make the computation easier. That will make the models can be processed easily. Okay, that's why we check the machine learning model again. Okay, so the other reason for the data science is the prominent technology company like Google's or Facebook, they look at the data nowadays to find out new findings. Okay, so this also make people look at the data science. Okay, so these three reasons, I think, but most importantly, I think the hardware advances, the way we do the computations, maybe in the algorithm designs, okay, that help us to be able to process a larger amount of data and to process the complicated models easily. Okay, that's why we have the data science now. Okay, so let's have a 10 minutes break.